Welcome everybody here to a different camera angle. We had some technical issues, hence we're now looking down this way at you guys. It's the defense, that's right, it's the tournament, which is actually sponsored by Own3D TV, supported by our boys up here that way. Razer, they are the guys who are helping us actually get all this happening. Our day today, it is our third day of play. Well, actually, technically, it's actually our fourth, but no, we're going to go third. Our third day of play, and it's only one match today. We had one game cancelled out, but we do actually have SGC going up against EBin. EBin being the compilation Heroes of New Earth team. I'll be your host for this evening, Toby1 Kenobi, and joining me is my amazing co-commentator. He is a compilation of both player as well as commentator. Sandman, welcome to the commentary box.
Thank you very much. It's been a while since I've been casting with you, but it's good to have some content once again, as you said. Not as you said right now. You said it yesterday. Yeah. To anybody who's been following yesterday, they probably realize how happy you are that there's some content back and going now.
Yay!
And yeah, happy, joy. And yeah, it's gonna be SGC versus EBin, as you've said. Two teams who, as I mentioned to the guys who've been following the stream before this before the draft is now going, well, all pick, we've already done the draft. SGC are without one of the key players, Tolix, who's actually not playing in the team anymore, and the same with Warlock. What Tolix told me is that Warlock lost the motivation to play on a competitive level, and because of that, Tolix wasn't really interested that much more either, so he's going to swap over and try to look for an international team. Tolix will try to continue playing competitively. He's looking for an international team, so if you guys can use him, if you're really good, then let him know. If anybody's watching in who might need him. Of course, he's looking for a high-skilled team, so you've got to know what you're all about. And yeah, because of that, we've got a little different SGC roster this evening, as you guys will probably see if Toby zooms over to those guys. And yeah, that is... I forgot where I was going with that, but that was probably the point itself.
They've actually shuffled the roster a little bit.
Yeah, they've shuffled the roster up a bit, and yeah, Tolix will be trying to find another team. Oh yeah, now I remember the point I was missing. Tolix was actually playing, according to himself, he had only played with SGC for 5 years in a row. You can call that stability.
Only 5? Like, only 5? How old is Dota again? 8?
It's amazing. Those SGC boys have been around forever. They have had their on and offs, but Tolix, I don't think he played in any other competitive team than SGC for 5 years straight. At least that seems reasonable to me. Anyway, over at EBin side, as you said, these are some sort of Heroes of New Earth All-Stars. I can say from experience and playing against these guys in scrims that these guys are certainly not to be underrated. I think a lot of people will be like, wow, these guys are from Heroes of New Earth. Can they play Dota 2 like the Dota players can? Yes, they can. These guys are very good. Do not underestimate their performance in this game. SGC, on the other hand, we all know them. They've been at the International. They've been around in Dota forever, as we mentioned, and there's definitely a lot of pressure being put on them in this game from EBin, and we'll see if they can keep up with that, of course, with the new roster as well as we introduced.
Yeah, let me just see. She just run through who's actually playing. What's the Crash will be playing as our carry anti-mage. She'll be supported by the Witch Doctor on bottom lane. Golek will be the one controlling the Witch Doctor. And Ghostbeard looks like what might possibly be a dual middle lane or even a solo middle. And then we might just steal one of the creeps here with the conversion. No, not yet. It'll be Ghost playing as the Venoman, so he will actually be going solo mid. Villic will be heading into the neutrals as the Enigma, and that leaves our top lane Sunwon playing as Windrunner. He'll be going up against the dual lane of Rexy playing the hard carry of Dro Ranger, supported by Twister playing the Tidehunter on that top lane. And then we go to Weh in the middle lane. He'll be playing as a Shadow Shaman, and then that leaves bottom lane Lich with Dement, as well as Trixie playing as Mirana.
Yeah, and we might as well just, out of my own knowledge, the guy in middle, I believe it's supposed to be said Wei Sing. Those Chinese signs afterward, it's a sign called Sing, apparently, so everybody calls him Wei Sing. So Wei Sing Sing, and I guess it's just Wei Sing. I don't know. But he's called Wei Sing, and we're going to go with that. As for all the other guys, you probably, if you've been around Dota for quite a while, you remember before these guys actually transitioned to Heroes of New Earth, you might be familiar with the names Trixie and Rexy. And Dement as well. These guys were actually very known Dota players back in the day. Trixie and Rexy playing for Team 8 Ball together with Playmate. And Dement has played for various teams, including Evo and yeah, other good stuff, with primarily teaming up with Germans, I believe. In the old DMZ, I think he played as well. But now he's back and returned from Han. Twister doesn't ring a bell for me at all. From anywhere Dota related, I think he started out in Heroes of New Earth, and the same has to go for Wei Sing. But he is playing his trademark hero in this game, Wei Sing, Shadow Shaman, not to be underestimated.
It's a bit of a shame that the EBin boys will not actually be able to compete at the DreamHack tournament, mainly because they're actually still signed by contract to the Heroes of New Earth tournament that'll be happening at DreamHack. So they will be forced to actually give up Dota 2 for DreamHack. But on the bright side for them at least, they will have a chance at the tournament if they qualify this weekend to come to Kiev and actually compete there. So hopefully they do actually sign themselves up for that. I'm actually going to have a look at the team list tonight to actually see who's going to be competing this weekend. And then we can have ourselves some fun. Not really surprising this early on that we actually haven't seen a... Well, maybe, as I say that, Kranich decides to actually blink up and a little bit more mana out from the Lich, however. He does get it straight back from a sacrifice. But haven't seen the first blood just yet. It just seems like a lot of these lanes are massively defensive. Just waiting for like level 6. Rexy won't want to push anything. He's just the Drow Ranger, and all you want to do is just farm and then mid-game have a little bit of fun. Anti-Mage just wants farm and then live through the first part of the game, get some decent farm to a Battle Fury, and then just farm, and then win. And then the bottom lane is a very defensive with Lich as well as Mirana on the bottom lane. Mirana with escape mechanisms just wants a little bit of farm as well and make the most of the middle game. And even then, Shadow Shaman won't want to do anything until he pops level 6 as well. So it's a very, it's going to be a very, very stale early part of this game.
I gotta agree with that. It's going to be very hard for either side to pull off kills, but we see the first measure being done by SGC, moving Venomonster down towards the bottom lane to put some pressure here with his fast level 4. Dropping that Venomous Scale on Trixie, not too much going to come out of that. He gets a Frost Blast back in the face. And who just TP'd? There was a TP.
It was the Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage in towards the middle lane.
Middle against...
But this is why, because Wish Dot is going to come through with the Bouncing Stun and the double damage, and it might be, and no, it's not. He didn't get enough bounces on the Shadow Shaman, so he just pops off a couple of bottle charges, and Golek will just try and harass him back a little bit further. But that Ether Shock really hurts! It's not enough to kill him. 9 HP! And the Wish Doctor manages to escape.
Need to be very careful around this way. Stingy Shadow Shaman definitely knows how to play this hero and how to control the lane, and he looks like he's not really worried about these guys being too in middle, especially because his friend Dement has shown up. It seems like the strategy coming out of EBin is just, alright, you know what, we're going to have Lich trailing around for Anti-Mage so that wherever he goes, he's going to be denied. First of all, because Lich is an amazing harassment hero, and second of all, of course, the Dog Ritual. Oh well, Sacrifice, as it's called in Dota 2.
Yeah, we're going to kind of get used to that. It's going to be fun down in SMM when we're going to be covering that one live. We'll be like, hey, what's all these Dota 2 names which I've now gotten used to? Is that a sheep stick? What is that? A Scythe of Vice? No, that's a... What the... No! Yeah. In the meantime, though, I have actually just noticed the gold graph is slowly going the way of the Dire. It is, and I say slowly going down that way. It's almost about hit 1,000 gold, which is pretty decent for a 4-minute gap time, especially when you've got Enigma sitting inside the neutrals, farming that up. So they are getting more and more resources, but a lot of that's coming down to the last hit. So Rexy already at 28 for 9 on that top lane as the Drow Ranger. Windrunner having a real hard time actually shutting that down at 6 for 0, the Windrunner on the top. And then do we even want to check out the mid lane? How Shadow Shaman actually going? 24 for 5 and then 21 for 4 on the bottom lane for Mirana. So a lot of farm coming for the 3 key heroes in the top, middle and bot lane for the Dire.
And of course a lot of this should be explained by the sacrifice of Lich. Of course takes away a lot of last hits. And well, it just seems like wherever Kranich goes, or as I was told he's actually called Kranich. I'm not sure if you want to dare challenge yourself to saying that. It's probably
Kranich.
Like Kranich.
Kranich.
Kranich, something like that. I guess I'm doing it somewhat decently. Else the guys from where is it from? Slovakia, I think. Else those guys will have to flame me. Or don't flame me, please.
They can flame you, and I'll keep calling him Kranich because no one has really ever complained about me calling him Kranich. So we'll keep going with that. Don't you start throwing more into the works. We already did Horst.
Export. Yeah. All right. Meanwhile, back in the game of Dota rather than the game of pronunciation, we've got Wei Sing hitting up that level 6 with the Shadow Shaman. He's going to pick up a haste rune, so we'll look for action to come up now.
Come on, hang on. I was about to say we're about to go bottom lane because Venomancer is down there, but Philly's got no life, man. He's got no life whatsoever. They're still going to attempt this. So Trixie getting galed off, leaves himself away, and Villic can't get close enough to actually let off a stun because if he did, Dement would just Frost Blast him to death. And in the meantime, now Shadow Shaman does, as you said, has that haste rune. One Ether Shock will actually get the first blood in the bottom lane. He drops the wards down, and Kranich is going to fight next to it. Decides, you know what, this is not the place to be. Blinks himself back out again. Venomancer does get caught in, needs to direct those wards down towards the Venomancer. Now he does do so. Starfall does help out, and that's actually what gets the last hit. Trixie going down, both Venomancer and Enigma both taking falls for the Radiant.
Yeah, good prediction there coming out of the Wei Sing Shadow Shaman to drop the wards instead of the Ether Shock. Did know that, alright, if I drop the wards, I'm going to get the first blood, and also Venomancer will have to run through this path. So with the wards already prepared, he had that damage source the moment Venomancer ran into those wards. And as you said, 2 first kills being claimed by EBin. Looks like Trixie's a little bit low, though. He might be sending down a salve of healing or something like that. Else he needs to be very careful. Just a few hits from Anti-Mage could actually bring down Mirana here with some sort of stun.
He's still got those tangos though, but I think he'll just keep his distance for the moment.
I just got the tangos from Lich. So there you go. Team play 101.
Hell yeah, share those consumables, man. Don't be selfish. Dota is not a selfish game. You got to play with the teammates. It's like you don't all go hard carries. It doesn't work that way, man. It just does not work that way. However, it does keep happening in pubs. It keeps happening a lot in pubs. In the meantime, though, bottom lane, Crash going to have a real hard time now considering he lost both his support heroes in that bottom lane. And not just that, the fact that Mirana was involved in that fight, Lich also, like, the XP, now the levels start to become a little bit more of a difference. Kranich does at least have that Ring of Fel, so that's one upside for him. Oh, and now Boots. Yay! Regen as well as speed. That's all he really gets, so he can't take too much harassment, but he can at least get some last hits.
Yeah, and considering the circumstances, he's actually got 23 CS in 8 minutes against a dual range lane of which one is Lich. It's actually pretty well done by the Anti-Mage here. He's going to try to scatter for whatever CS he can, but it's... Oh, not scatter, scavenge whatever CS he can was what I meant to say. But obviously it's going to be very, very hard, and EBin have got themselves a very good grip on the early game already, getting tons of farm on their own heroes, and if you pop up the gold graph again, you will see more than a 2,000 gold difference already at 8.5 minutes. They have an advantage of more than 25% on the gold.
Shadow Shaman's on the roam. He's going to come in through the neutrals. He is already being stunned, but there's nothing for the stun to bounce to. But Enigma is there. He drops down the wards, and he will... No, Crunch actually jumps in, and Shadow Shaman will escape. He got the wall block there on the Witch Doctor. Village trying to TP out. The arrow is just a little bit too late. The Courier, however, almost dying with the boots flying out. It was walking into the wards, but it will manage to actually live through that very traumatic time for itself. But still only 1 death for the Radiant, which is probably better than what it could have been if they lost Courier, Boots, as well as a couple more heroes.
Yeah, I think that was the best possible outcome they could have on the Radiant side, so I think they're going to be alright with that, especially considering Shadow Shaman once again dropping his ultimate just to take a kill or two, so still hasn't used it to get any tower control just yet. And that's going to be important for the Radiant not to get all that global gold.